Our top focus on WION at this hour. The American and Iranian forces traded fire in the Gulf while the United Arab Emirates. It came under renewed attack as the latest US-Iran showdown threatened a fragile month-old ceasefire and raised hopes of a diplomatic breakthrough. Now, both sides accuse each other of violating the ceasefire. The US military said American forces carried out strikes on Iranian military targets on Thursday after what it described as an attack on 3 US destroyers operating in the strait. Iran's top military command accused the US of breaching the ceasefire by striking an Iranian vessel and civilian areas on Kashmir Island and nearby coastal regions along the Strait of Hormuz. Well, Tehran said it retaliated and caused significant damage. However, US Central Command said that none of its assets were hit. Reports identified that 3 ships, as the USS Truxtun, USS Peralta and USS Mason, which intercepted drones and missiles before continuing their mission. Trump addressed the confrontation on social media, saying US forces caused great damage to Iranian targets. But he seemed to downplay the confrontation, saying a ceasefire was already in effect. Now, in an interview with ABC News, he described the strikes as a love tap. Listen to this.
Yeah, it is. They trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle. I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran.
The United Arab Emirates reported attacks from Iran. UAE said its air defenses engaged missiles and drones, and these were attacks originating from Iran, adding that interception sounds were heard across various parts of the country. Now, Iran had targeted UAE last week as well after US began its Project Freedom to escort ships out of the strait. The latest attack seems to be a part of Iran's playbook and a new reality. Should fighting resume between the US and Iran, the Gulf would be the one to pay. President Trump briefly authorized a naval operation earlier this week aimed at reopening the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping before suspending the effort. Reports suggested that the project was paused after Saudi Arabia and Kuwait they blocked access to their airspaces and bases. However, a new report suggests that the 2 Gulf allies have lifted these restrictions now. According to the Wall Street Journal, access to bases and overflight by US forces in Saudi Arabia was reinstated after another phone call between Trump and the Saudi Crown Prince. US is preparing to restart the naval mission, and it could resume as early as this week. Among all this, Trump continued to play up the prospect of an agreement with Iran to end the war, but he repeated claims which are that so far without success, the 2 sides remain at odds over a variety of difficult and very conflicting issues such as Iran's nuclear ambitions and its control of the Strait of Hormuz.